if you ask a question, please state your name and affiliation and designate which student athlete you are asking the question to. We are joined now from UT Arlington by student athletes. We're joined by junior Star Jacobs and senior Taryn Milton. So we'll go ahead with questions for the student athletes.
Star, could you talk about the joy on the UTA website? There was a considerable video showing all the celebrations that you guys were having. There were lots of long hugs on that court after the game. Could you just talk about what it means to be the part of the first UTA team in some time to make it back to the dance?
I think it was a good feeling. We were all excited, knowing that we were doubted, and to actually win and be number one, it felt good.
Taryn, and then if I could have Star answer as well. But you guys have been a good road team this year. Why is it? What are the qualities that a team shows when it is a good road team?
I think we just come in focused and ready to play. When you're on the road, you have to be more focused. You have to be dialed in more. And so I think we've done that great all year, and I think we're going to continue to be great at that.
I feel the same way. We all know it's hard to win on the road, so for us to do that, it just shows how much better we've got and how much better we're going to get.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh Sowers, Maverick Sports Network. Taryn, you've been a part of this team for several years now. You've been a part of some great times, some heartbreaking times. Obviously, this season has to feel a little more special. Can you just talk about the camaraderie that this team has with one another?
We're amazing together. We have relationships off the court and on the court, so I think that's something that, we've really taken advantage of as well. We play good together on the court. We're focused, we're dialed in, and we love to compete. We love to go out there and compete. Iowa State's a great team, but, we're always going to compete, and we're good together on the floor. We're focused, and I'm just really excited to get out there with everybody and kind of put us on the map and show the world what we have to offer.
Do we have any more in-person questions for the student athletes? Okay, we'll move to Zoom, and first up is Brandon Sudge.
Hey, this is Brandon Sudge with the Dallas Morning News. Taryn, you spoke about that camaraderie and how you guys wanted to be put on the map. Can you think of a story or something that really sticks out to you about that camaraderie, and what exactly gives you guys a chance to knock off Iowa State?
As for the story, I feel like the seniors, when everybody got here and everybody was coming in at the start of the summer, we all took time out of our days to go and greet everybody. And we would always plan things for the team to get together. And through that stuff, we kind of just built great relationships with each other. So I feel like that's something that's really helped us out. And that was something that started at the beginning of the summer. So it just kept building up and building up. And now we're in March, and we all love each other, and we're excited to go out there and play for each other. And so I think that's why this season is so special.
Brandon, go ahead.
And then for Star as well, something along those same lines. Can you think of just something special about this team on the court? What do you feel like gives y'all that confidence that y'all can compete and potentially knock off Iowa State?
I feel like beating ranked teams has gave us that motivation. If we're going to talk about a story, I would say when we beat South Florida, that was a game going into, a lot of people were thinking, okay, it's UTA, we're finna knock them out. But I think for us to beat that team, it kind of showed us, we can do this, we can compete. It doesn't matter who you are.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Brandon, go ahead.
I'll go back over to Taryn here, but so would you mind speaking to me on Star and what makes it special to play with her?
Star is amazing to play with. I mean, she's a bucket getter. She's a person that, you know, she demands a lot of attention on the court. So when she's demanding attention, it opens up things for everybody else. When we need a bucket, you know, we go to her. She's amazing, you know. As far as defense-wise, she's really good on defense as well. And she's really just taken our team to a whole different level this year. And she's done it every game. You know, we know what we're going to get from Star every single game. She's very consistent in that matter, and she's going to leave it all on the court. And so that's what I love about her game.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, sorry. You're done. Yeah. Not permissible by the media. For those joining us remotely through Zoom, please use the raise hand function if you have a question. We will take in-person questions first, then we will move to Zoom. If you do want to ask a question, please state your name and affiliation before doing so. All right, we are joined now by the head coach of UT Arlington, Sharika Wright. Coach, if you'd like to begin with an opening statement, then we'll take questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, we are so excited as our staff, administration, university has a lot of things to celebrate. And for me, within the second year, this is definitely a tremendous honor. Being as a player, as an assistant coach, and finally as a head coach to be able to experience this. This has been an amazing feeling. And so we're just excited to be able to play against one of the historical programs in Iowa State. Coach Finley has done an amazing job with his program over the years. His culture, his standard has set the tone for that in women's basketball, and I'm just honored and pleased to be able to coach alongside of him.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, as you said, Iowa State has a certain brand that's been established over a long period of time. The Dayton players talk about, the playing the Dayton way, and when you ask them what that is, they say, well, it starts with defense. Okay. You're only in your second year at UTA, but you already have incredible success there. What is the brand of UTA women's basketball? And I guess both what it is and what it is that you will want it to be in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. Well, great question. Well, for me, UTA women's basketball brand is 2 feet in. And what we mean by that is that we put everything forth when we step on that floor. We compete, we play with toughness, we play with passion, we play together. And so, yes, in 2 years, a lot of things have happened. But in those 2 years, I've been able to inherit great players, great leadership. And that has made it very simple for me, that process. And so for me, in year 2, it was important to be able to add those pieces to continue to be that way. So that brand, what I want it to be, is to be able to be bigger, faster, stronger. I think that's where the game is going right now in women's basketball. You see a lot of players are versatile, not your traditional, smaller point guards, true centers. Your centers now can step out and shoot the 3. Your centers can now start the break and do all those great things like that. So eventually that's where I want it to go. I want it to be exciting basketball. I mean, that's a big thing about women's basketball, right? People want to be able to see a brand that is exciting, athleticism, things to make people come out and want to see it more. And so that's ultimately what it's about. And ultimately it's about developing young women. And that's what I feel like we have done in 2 years, is develop young women to believe in themselves and have a confidence when they step on the floor.
One more question. You shot the 3 pretty well in the tournament, in the conference tournament, a little better than you did in the regular season. But watching that game against Troy and seeing you guys get out, Dayton last night shot, hit 11 of their first 13 threes. But you have a team that doesn't necessarily have to be banking in a lot of things beyond the arc. Am I right?
You're absolutely correctly. I mean, obviously, we talked about this before. Our offense starts with Star Jacobs within the paint. I think that's where you got to look at that. It goes inside out. And I've talked about this all year long. Yes, in non-conference, we did not shoot the ball very well, and even the start of our conference play. But I knew eventually that would come to play. Again, you look at the versatility of our team, the size that we do have. We got players that can absolutely step out and shoot the ball. And our run we made in the tournament started from us being able to hit outside shots, which opened up a lot of things for us in the paint for Star Jacobs. So I do like the inside-out play that we do have, and I do think that has been very important for us to having the success that we're having right now. And I do think it's very important to continue to have that within the NCAA tournament, especially against Iowa State, who does shoot the ball very well. And so, we're going to be able to have to hit knockdown shots. Iowa State will play to tendencies and strengths and weaknesses of teams. That's what makes them very well. I mean, it makes them very good. And so our team knows that, and our team expects that and welcomes that. And hey, this is what it is. You got to knock down shots to be able to open up things in the paint.
Chuck Schaffner, you lost your last regular season game. It was at home. I assume you had some senior night activities. So how did you flip the switch so quickly? I mean, you played so well during your conference tournament.
Yeah, good question. Well, first of all, if you look at our record, when we suffered losses, we've always came back with a win. We're able to bounce back. And that's the same mindset that we had all year long is that bounce back. Our kids really buy into understanding the things that we did not do well in those games. And a lot of those losses that we have had, we did play well. It just may have came down to a couple of possessions, as we all talk about, right? Possessions matter. It could have been, missed free throws or, easy buckets around the rim. And so, our kids have really done that. I think that's probably been a staple of ours is that, we suffer a loss and we bounce back and we get back into the flow of things. I thought in the tournament what we did was we're just locked in another level. I thought we were very aggressive. We threw the first punches first, and I think that was a big piece for us to have the success that we did in the Sun Belt tournament. And then we got contributions from a lot of different players.
What do you remember from your visits here with Tech, Hilton Coliseum?
Oh, I think fans. I think that's the biggest thing you talk about with women's basketball. They come out and support their program. That's an amazing feeling. That is something that is needed in women's basketball. And I know for years, coming here as a player, playing here, and then being an assistant coach at Texas Tech, you remember great fan support. And that's huge. And, I talked to our players about that is that you're going to play in a great environment. 9 o'clock at night, they're still going to be screaming. They're still going to be engaged. But this is a great opportunity for you to be able to display who you are for people who don't get to see you within this region. So I think it's a great opportunity for us, and our players are looking forward to it.
So would you rather, so it sounds like you'd rather play in an environment where there's a lot of fans, even though they're cheering against you, than a so-called neutral place that might not have a crowd?
Well, I think it's big. Neutral spot or you're playing, at a hosting site. I think in women's basketball, I think that's one of the things that we're trying to get to is to get the fan support no matter where it is. I think where we're headed to the next couple of years writing these neutral sites, it's important for us to bring that excitement for fans to be able to come out and support. So we will continue to keep doing what we're doing. I think we have great voices, obviously, again, coaches that are stressing the importance about coming out and supporting women's basketball. But as you can see right now, the parity within our game is bringing a lot of excitement. So I think that is going to continue to grow as we grow.
Going back to that national championship game, 2001, you were playing, Neil Ivey was playing for Notre Dame, and now both of you are coaches in the NCAA tournament. You think that's kind of a cool thing? Yeah,
I tell you, it's full circle. And you're talking about as a freshman who is playing on a team who had already won a national championship with Carolyn Peck. And to be able to get there, our freshman year, we actually had played Notre Dame in the non-conference early that year, and they had beat us. And to get back to that game, right, is we're thinking we're playing UConn. They had such a big lead on them, and then Notre Dame comes back and win that. And so you talk about, obviously the journeys that different coaches and players have had, and obviously Neil has had a tremendous journey, being able to go into the NBA and be an assistant coach and then come back to her alma mater and lead a program where she won a national championship with too. So it is, for me, it's a full circle piece. It's something I smile about because, again, you have these experiences that you get to share with your players and you talk about, but it's different within you're in that seat as a head coach and you know what to expect, but it's a little bit different, right? Because as a player, you get to kind of have that fun and excitement. And I just wish I could get out there and play. I probably can play about 5 minutes, but that's about it. But, I enjoy the fact that I get to see our players enjoy the experience.
For what it's worth, Bill said he's glad he's not playing you one-on-one.
Do we have any more in-person questions for Coach Wright?
Josh Sowers, Maverick Sports Network. Coach, we talked to the Coaches Show on Monday. You've been a part of some great teams, some March Madness teams. Now that you're the head coach, what separates this from being, what makes this one so special for you?
Well, I think first off, Josh, is because you're a head coach, right? And the players make it special for me. They welcomed me, and that's a big deal. You come in and into a program who obviously, and I always give Krista a lot of credit because, again, she brought those players in. and they believed they had a standard, and they took a chance of, of believing, because, it's not easy when you have coaching changes. And they took a chance. They were patient. And so I think this is what makes this group so special to me, is because they took an opportunity to buy into what I was asking them to. And then the recruiting class, my first recruiting class, to be able to come in and be a part of that is big and huge for me too. So you're talking about a twofold piece that, again, it's the players that have welcomed you, and then the players that bought in and believed in you to come to UT Arlington and to say, hey, listen, this is a special place. Come make this program special again, because it's been done before.
It seemed like this season, after a setback that we always talked about, that this team always regathered focus, and you didn't have to do a whole lot with those seniors, with your entire team. They were focused from the get-go. Taryn said that earlier in this press conference, that they know what they wanted to accomplish this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm very transparent with my players. We had transparent conversations. I think that's also a piece with this program that makes it unique. And I don't hold back. I allow our players to be able to tell me how they feel. I understand. I've been a player. I understand that. And the only way I know how to be is transparent with them. And we tell them, hey, listen, this is a critical game for us. This is a game that we've got to bounce back from. They understand that, but they wanted to win. And I always go back to this, our first year when we lost to App State in that first round against App State in the Sun Belt tournament. We talked about that feeling, and we talked about how do we get over that hump. And it's about the toughness. It's about the sacrifices. Not being afraid of success, as I've talked about before. They trusted that. They believed in the process, and this is why we're here today.
This is a lot of them, their first experience, March Madness. How are they enjoying the trip so far?
Oh, it's been awesome. Again, you get here besides the weather piece of it all, but I told them we play indoors, so it really doesn't really matter about that. But I think the thing is that you're one of 68. Everybody can't say that piece of it all. So these are memories that they get to talk about that other players don't, student athletes don't get a chance to talk about. So, again, I know they'll probably be a little bit nervous, but more so than anything is that you get to put that patch on, the NCAA patch, and to say that I'm participating as one of the 68 teams that made the tournament.
All right, now we'll move to remote questions. And first up is Isaac Apelt.
Hi, Isaac Appel with the Shorthorn. You talked about earlier a priority for you was developing young women with this program. You have 7 seniors on this team. What have you seen from those 7 seniors and the rest of the team as a whole, but mainly those 7 seniors? What have you seen from them developmentally?
Well, I think first off, one of the things that I've seen is that they have become, and this may sound a little bit backwards, but uncomfortable. In development, right, we got to be able to take chances and do things that they don't normally do on a day-to-day basis, right? It's the sacrifices that, they may have not known that they had to make. I challenged them in the non-conference, in the preseason, of things that I asked them to do. As leaders, right, there's different things that I need them to do. So individually, we spent time and we talked about the things that I needed them to do. And those 7 seniors bought into that. Their roles, some of those roles had to change. We had players come in and their roles changed differently from what they were previously. So they bought into those roles. And then more so than anything is that they became vulnerable with me. And I think a lot of times when they knew they could be vulnerable with me, that they would run through a wall for me. And that has shown. And so those 7 seniors were critical, which also led to them being able to be great leaders for those freshmen that have to learn the process, right? As a freshman, you don't really know what to expect. And you're talking about freshmen that come in, and it's a COVID year, and they probably not had high school season. They haven't been away from home. So those seniors were very, very critical for me to be a voice when I was not around, to be able to speak up when things may have not been going the right way, or just to be, that person that is saying, hey, listen, I'm here to help you out. So the development piece of it all is critical, because after this is all said and done, I want them to be able to be normal, women, that they stand strong, they stand tall, and they believe in what they're doing.
All right, next we'll go to Brandon Sudge.
Hey, Coach, this is Brandon Sudge with the Dallas Morning News. So earlier on, your players were spoken about how you guys were doubted at times and things like that, but they also spoke about the camaraderie of your team, kind of how you guys are so connected in every way. Can you speak on how that gives you a chance against Iowa State, and also how you guys have picked up those wins over like a USF and those ranked teams. How does that help you going into this?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I've talked about this. It was important for us to challenge ourselves in the non-conference. When you look at this roster, one of the things that I was excited about is that, I feel like we have a lot of versatility with a lot of players. And I'll just give a perfect example. And she does not get talked about a lot is Katie Farrell. You look at a kid that's is 6'1", that has an unbelievable ability to see the floor, to handle the ball. We can move her around the floor. That you don't see that a lot. And so especially, you consider us a mid-major, a lot of teams, come in and they say, hey, this is a team that we can go in and beat. But if you look at us across the board, again, we have players that can average double figures for us. When we have four players in double figures, I think that makes us very tough to defend and guard. We can move different players around to where we can do different things. So I think the doubt piece is a lot of people just didn't know probably a lot about UT Arlington. And so I think that's, kind of the things that you walk into. But we played a very good South Florida team that had beat UConn and had beat Oregon prior to them coming to us. And we talked about that with our players, what that can mean for our program. And so I thought they just took the challenge. They played with a chip on their shoulders. They carried each other. And it led to us getting that. So I think with Iowa State, it's the same thing. We have nothing to lose at this point, but we're prepared. Obviously, again, our Sun Belt, conference prepared us for this too. There's a lot of parity within that as well too. That had teams that had great wins against other teams, Power 5 levels as well too. So I am excited that I know that our kids will step on that floor and they will compete. I don't doubt that one bit.
All right, that's all the time we have with Coach. Coach Wright, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
Good luck. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're all right. A recording of this